Hey guys, it's Wednesday of Holy Week, getting ready for Easter. Just so good to be home. Love you guys so much. But wanted to talk with you about something that's really burning on my heart. I had a great conversation with a friend of mine today around this thing about it's really interesting that Jesus says in Mark 8:15, he says, beware the leaven, the yeast of Herod and of the Pharisees. And what's going on with that? See, Herod is the political system. Pharisees are the religious system. The reason why he puts them together is, in fact, those are the two things that crucified the Son of Glory. Those are the two things that cooperated to kill Jesus, because they're two sides of the same coin. See, religion and politics by nature, that political spirit, God moves in politics. He raised up Daniels and Josephs. But the political spirit and the religious spirit are both, the way they operate is they create false dichotomies. They give you only two options, and you have to either be with me or against me. You have to agree with me on everything, or you are against me. You are either good or you're bad. You're good, evil or good. Like, you can't, there's no nuance. Everything is incredibly fear-based, and it drives you to want to self-protect and to self-justify and to save your life, right? We've all had that with people. Like, what do you think about this issue? And you're like, right? You just don't hurt me, right? And what it does is it destroys relationships. It says, I will protect your life if you cooperate with this system. I will help you save it, but in the end, it's going to cost you relationships. It's going to cost you love and life. Perfect love casts out all fear, but fear casts out love. And the leaven of Herod and of the Pharisees, the political spirit and the religious spirit operate through fear, and they destroy love. And so every time you can always tell, because you've only got two choices, right? And fear and or rage, anger is a manifestation of fear. Fear or rage or anger is the automatic result. And so with those, shame, guilt, condemnation, all those things. But we know the Spirit by the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, self-control. So what do you do in that situation? A buddy of mine, he was faced with this situation. He was asking me, he's like, I ran into a situation where two of my friends had gotten, they had come out as gay, they had gotten married, and they wanted me to celebrate their lifestyle. And in fear, he didn't know what to do, so he just kind of froze, right? Fear, right? Fear. He didn't want to reject them. He didn't want to condemn them. He wanted to love them, but he didn't know what to do. And so in his fear and paralysis, they then fed him into a narrative that he hated them, that he condemned them, blah, 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 blah. And he said, what could I have done? And I was like, I don't know. I can tell you this: anything we do out of the motivation of fear is not going to be good. Whatever we do out of a motivation to save our life, not going to be good. So whenever I'm faced with those two options, I retreat into Jesus. Jesus, what do you want me to know? Not what do you want me to know about the situation. No, what do you want me to do to protect myself, save myself? But it is, what do you want me to know? And what do you want me to do and I stay in that place till I hear love. Because anything I do, I had a situation today. I was faced with two situations where I was feeling manipulated. I felt like things were being demanded of me, and immediately fear came up, right? Because both the political and the religious spirit are about manipulation. In that moment I was like, God, and God's like, right now you're asking me what to do, but what you're really wanting to do is, how do you want to know how to save your life? That's the problem. Come back to me with a better question. I was like, fine, what do you want me to know? And he said, you're afraid. That's what I want you to know. You're afraid. I was like, oh, you're right. I am afraid. And you're mad. I said, I am. He said, you need to forgive. I said, okay, I forgive. You need to release. Okay. You need to bless. Okay, I bless. Now what? He said, okay, now, because you're ready to love, now I can give you options. See, God is a God of love, and he can only give options if we're willing to love. He can't give options just to save our lives, because that's partnering with fear. So I just want to encourage you right now, especially as we're thinking about this, the ones who crucified the Son of Glory, but also as our world has devolved into political wars and religious wars, that guys, that we cannot afford. We cannot afford to surrender the gospel to something other than Jesus Christ. We have got to, because everything that wars against love is going to kill us. That doesn't mean we agree with everything, but God will provide us a way to love and be honest and be truthful. I'll end with this. I was just in Ukraine, and I'm staring at people who've suffered the worst things I can imagine. And God said, I need you to tell them that they have got to forgive. How dare you tell people who have suffered such horrors they've got to forgive? But God broke my heart. And he showed me how they were held captive by bitterness, and that bitterness was killing them. And he said, and when I came to that point, I could with love tell them the hardest things. Do you see? It's not a demand of law. It's a, do you want to be free? I said, you have every right to be bitter. You have every right to, but do you want to live? If you want to live, come free. And so I just want to invite us, especially at this time of Easter, to consider that it is time to step away from the religious and the political spirit and to step into the heart of love, and especially at this season. I love you guys so much. Be blessed.